Hello, parents. It is Mr. Jim, and did you know it's time for story time? My podcast, Kids Short Stories, was created for our own kids. You see, my wife loved the stories I was telling to them at bedtime, and she wanted me to record them so that they could listen to them in the car or maybe during quiet time. It's now been downloaded millions of times by kids all around the world as we turn their ideas into amazing adventures. You see, kids send in their story ideas, and then I create an awesome adventure about them. Maybe they're stopping the bad guy, finding a lost treasure, or riding a unicorn through the clouds. With a new adventure every single day, we have a lot of fun together. And it also decreases screen time, which we all know that battle. Well, my friends, search for me, Mr. Jim, or Kid Short Stories. So listen to Kid Short Stories on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Are you guys ready for today's adventure? Me too, let's go!
Back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive. Thank you so much for keeping us on the air. Happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah, baby.
If you see a veteran, please tell them that you're all in with the veterans. And can't hug them right now, I guess, because of the whole COVID thing. But I'm sure you could definitely say thank you for your service. Coach Jim Moore had a press conference today when it was announced that he would be the next head coach of UConn football. And we've got some of the sound for you right now. So, Kurt, why don't we do cut one where he just meet and greet so far?
Well, I'll tell you what a tremendous honor to be chosen to be the next head coach at UConn is something that means so much to me, and it's such a wonderful opportunity. As David mentioned, we've gotten a chance to know each other very well over the course of the last month through Zoom calls and then over the last 4 days in person. I've had a chance to talk to many people in the UConn Nation, and it's just been overwhelming to feel the support and the passion and the commitment to the program and the desire to see this program become prominent again. And I know it's a heavy task, but it's one that I welcome and I'm excited about taking on. I'm excited to get back to stores and begin to develop relationships with people in that area, whether it be members of the community, high school coaches, of course, our student athletes, other people on the campus. This is an opportunity for me to go to a nationally known brand. I mean, everybody knows UConn. Across the country, we know UConn. And, primarily because of the success of the basketball programs and the baseball programs and field hockey and other sports. But I feel that we can do some things in football that bring us up to a level where people are proud of that program.
There you go.
Knowledge of the field hockey team being awesome.
You did. You did some homework. I love it, Coach.
That is great. That is
love
great.
It. Respect.
We were talking during the break, too. Like, this dude has had nothing but first-class football.
That's right.
Like, you're talking the NFL facilities for
the Falcons.
Just going to lunch.
Seahawks.
Then, okay, you don't want and here's the other thing. You know who his dad is, right? I mean, his dad's an NFL coaching legend. And so he has grown up around the world of the NFL. Now you get the first college job at UCLA. And, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure they do things pretty top-notch there at UCLA. There's a high bar in that regard as far as, kind of got to press this dude a little bit, knock his socks off with some of our facilities that we got, because you made mention, like, the rent is what the rent is.
The rent is what the rent is. But having lived right down the street from UCLA.
They got some nice stuff.
It's unbelievable. They got some nice toys. So, but they do everything first class. And I've said that since I got back here, that you have to understand everybody outside of New England knows how big the brand of UConn is.
It is.
The people inside here, just they're like, oh yeah, okay, UConn. It's not like that. It's not that easy to have 11 national titles or even 4 men's national titles in basketball,
even
and
the
all the field hockey, the soccer.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, it was a national brand, the soccer. Then you start talking about Jim Penders and what he has done over 20-plus years in the baseball world, putting lots of guys in the major leagues. So it's not just a little small piece of Americana here. It is known nationally. It should be treated like that, like the gem that it is. And, start giving these coaches like Jim Moore the first-class treatment across the board.
And I would even see in the world of football, as far as the UConn brand is. Now, forget about the team's performance over the last 4 years on the actual field, but Dan Orlovsky is a hell of a spokesperson for UConn football on a daily basis.
Got to bring him back into the fold.
Not only that, but also all the NFL players that are around the league. That Bob Joyce showed me a stat the other day that I think it's a top 30 football program as far as current players in the NFL.
UConn's right up there.
Watch the Jets game, and Foley Fudukasi will be playing defensive tackle. He was there 2 years ago. So, that brand on football terms isn't as bad as what people make it out to be.
Let's go to cut to Dom Amore, our good friend from the Hartford Current, getting in there.
What does Dom say?
Well, thanks, Dom. Yeah, listen, I recognize the challenge and I relish the challenge. I'm a competitor. I love to compete, and I love a hard challenge. There's a saying that I really like, and that's hard things are hard. And I just think this is an amazing opportunity. When the job came open, I expressed my interest. I have a burning desire to coach again for many, many reasons. I love being on the sidelines. I love the competitive aspect of recruiting and the game. I love their strategic part. Maybe more than anything, though, I love the relationships with the players. I love beginning a relationship with a family and a young man at an early age, and helping them get to where they want to be in life. And typically, these young men come to a school like UConn with desires to go on and play in the NFL. And I've certainly been able to have some success in helping young men get to that point. But I think I'm equally as proud of the fact that the student athletes that I was able to coach at UCLA, they graduated and they were prepared for life after football. They were prepared for success after football. And so when you marry what I think is really important with the values of UConn, I think they're absolutely in sync. I mean, this is a nationally prominent brand. There's a desire for athletic excellence.
That was Dom Amore from the Hartford Current. He had asked the coach some of the challenges facing him taking the UConn job. Cut 3 is Fox 61 asking him, what is the number one thing you have to do?
Well, I think we have to make incremental gains every single day. We cannot waste a moment in our pursuit of regaining respect and becoming competitive. And it's a perpetual journey. And I think we have to find ways to measure our success outside of the scoreboard initially. I think this thing you'll find about me as we go on is that I'm very competitive, very passionate, and don't really relent a whole lot. But I think that it's all about building and maintaining and cultivating the right culture, the right environment, where every day everybody in that building is fully committed to doing the things that we need to do to gain ground every single day and take steps towards our objective.
Cut 4 is someone from New Haven Register asked him about what he learned while he was coaching at UCLA.
Well, Gavin, I think that we need about 3 days for me to answer that question. But I think that I learned a little bit of patience and the ability to move deliberately without ever sacrificing a sense of urgency. I think you can be patient and you can move deliberately, but that doesn't mean your standards are being compromised, and that doesn't mean you're moving slowly. We're going to move with urgency every single day, but we're going to make great decisions for our program every single day as well. I would say that in the past, there were times when I would move swiftly and urgently, but maybe not as deliberately as I should. And I think that that's one of the great lessons I learned, along with many others. And I really am just excited that to get an opportunity to come back to college football and put what I would characterize as my experience and my passion and intelligence for the game, back into action for these young men and for the state of Connecticut.
And then finally, Coach Morrow was asked about from, I think this is UConn TV, how do you get the students back on board?
Student asking this question.
Yeah, good question.
Hey, Coach. I work for the student television station on campus, and you talked about UConn being well known for basketball, and I don't think a lot of students at UConn are really that engaged in the football program. What are some of the tenets of your program that you think will be enticing to students and make them make the drive from Storrs East Hartford to come to football games every Saturday in the fall?
Well, I can't wait to get on campus and start meeting some of those students. I can't wait to get into the dorms and walk into the cafeteria and go into the fraternity and sororities and kind of start to get a feel for what the the students are all about, and letting them know what I'm all about and what this program is going to be all about. I understand the challenges of having a stadium that's not on campus, but that was the same thing we had at UCLA. We were well over an hour away from the Rose Bowl where we played, and it was a challenge sometimes to get students there. But I can tell you this: if the kids on campus get excited about their football team because they're able to engage with the players in the classroom, on campus, they're able to come to practice, they see a team that plays hard, plays for them as students, wins games, they'll make that trip. And not only we make that trip, we got to get them into the stadium from the parking lot. And we're going to do that, and we're going to find ways. And like I said, I'm going to be in Storrs, and I'm going to be in that community, and I'm going to be around that student body, and they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. And I understand it's a challenge, but it's one I'm really excited about taking on.
And that's the new coach of University of Connecticut, Jim Mora, talking about it's not going to be easy. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. When I got back here 8 years ago, I knew it wasn't going to be easy when Bob Diaco took over. But you got to have some consistency, and you have to have some stabilization here. And I think Jim Mora, if you let him just do some stuff for a few years, get his feet wet, I think he can build a foundation. But you got to be patient, like he said. This is a tough job. Being an independent college football team right now, not having a lot of 5-star, 4-star players on the team. He knows that, but he was willing to take the challenge, and, welcome on board, Coach.
Yeah, and he's got a chance to build it the way he wants. I mean, the bar is so low. And we will take, a couple of wins or even the look of improvement would be high fives all around this place. So an opportunity for a man to really do a football program exactly the way you want to do a football program. If anyone says to this guy, well, this is the way we used to do it, get that out of your mouth, because the used to do it stuff really never worked. I'm excited today. I'm so happy that Benedict actually made this announcement. The sooner the better, I thought. And now it's a guy that a lot of people know and respect in the football community. I think it was a great hire today.
Yeah, and some of the things that I learned from Jim, just listening to him, and I was still working on the West Coast when he was out there with UCLA, is the fact that he understands recruiting at the high school level. He's got to get to know not just Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, even all the way down to Pennsylvania. You got to know all these high school coaches. You've got to get the tapes of these kids coming into your office and have somebody going through them and going, oh, dude, did you see this 6'5" kid out of Pennsylvania? We got to go see that kid. That's the kind of stuff that, honestly, I don't know what was going on around here or how far away we were going to recruit some of the prospects, but that you got to get dirty with that stuff. You've got to be in these households, and I think he understands it. Plus, he's young enough, he's hip enough to understand that he's got to be on the social media. He's got to get the student body behind him. That was one of the things that he lost at UCLA the last 3 years he was there. 25% in attendance went down at the Rose Bowl. So things like that, in order to build it up, you've got to build it from the ground up here. So it's a lot different. They don't expect you to go to the Rose Bowl every year here at UConn. So he's going to have at least that pressure off of him.
And two places I'd love for him to start in the recruiting. One, I already said, the locker room. like keeping a lot of these guys here and building a program with this foundation of kids that we have. And we have some talented players, especially on defense. By the way, Jackson Mitchell is like top 5 in tackles right now in the country. 2 defensive tackles, Jones and Ugwak, they are stars. So hopefully we can keep a lot of this talent that we already have cultivated in the last couple of years, getting them bigger, stronger, faster. But the other place that I would love for them to recruit, transfer portal. We got to get some transfers in here. We got to get people that are ready to play.
Been saying that for years. Get some kids from Central or wherever and bring in some grad students and get some older bodies in there.
Grad students, I'm talking about Power 5 kids that didn't get any time, that may have been talked into a redshirt year. People that want to play, because that's your number one selling point. Play. We got spots all over the place for playing time.
And he's got to find a Tom Moore. He's got to find a guy that can go out there and recruit as you're still coaching like Dan Hurley has on the UConn men's basketball program.
Hello, parents. It's Mr. Jim, and I want to invite your kids to listen to Kids Short Stories. You see, kids all around the world listen to Kids Short Stories and send in their ideas. And every single day, I create a brand new story about them finding treasure, stopping the bad guy, or flying on a unicorn. If you're looking to cut down on screen time, search for Mr. Jim. So listen to Kids Short Stories on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.